Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Ninja Gaiden 3. So what happens when you have two really awesome games and you have to find a way to top them? Well, you get Ninja Gaiden 3. So yeah, I was really excited for this game before it came out. I saw it in the magazines. I loved Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, so it was a no-brainer that I had to play 3. The screenshots looked awesome. This is Ninja Gaiden 3 to the next level. And so I remember playing it for the first time and watching that really crazy intro where Irene gets killed and then Ryu is looking at the lab with the really awesome music playing. I remember being so blown away by that intro. And then playing the game, something kind of felt a bit off. I remember the controls, Ryu was a little floaty, if you know what I mean, when you jump, and then it was a little harder to land back on the ground. And second, the Dragon Sword was supposed to be gone by the end of the second game, but I think according to Tecmo, they wanted, I think they recently said, first takes place Ninja Gaiden 1, then 3, then 2. That kind of makes a little sense, but kind of doesn't. In my mind, though, it's still Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3. But one cool thing about this game, even though they got rid of the awesome clones from the previous game, they let you have this super long dragon sword, which made it very easy to kill stuff. Yeah, so if you thought Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 were difficult, Ninja Gaiden 3 took that difficulty and spiked it all the way up, because they probably thought, hey, kids were beating Ninja Gaiden 2 a little too easily, so let's make the third one harder so they can keep the game longer rather than giving it back to the store. Because man, this game throws enemies at you in every single direction, and also one of the worst parts is that your life bar goes down twice as much as in the previous games, so you're gonna die really fast, especially before the end of the game where you have to climb all those walls with the spikes and shit. Jesus, those things took half of your life and you could not even get past them in any capacity. So I was not able to beat this game when I first played it, just kind of like the first one. So if there's one thing I really praise the Ninja Gaiden games for, is the story. Now the story was presented quite well in this game, but not as well executed as the previous games. You wanted to know why Irene died, you wanted to avenge her death, and you wanted to know what this Clancy guy was planning, and you were happy to see Foster back, but the execution of it just wasn't really that good. Kind of throughout this game, you were just kind of transported to places with no explanation at all. One minute you're in the lab, and then you end up in the desert, and you end up in the jungle. Is there an explanation why this happens? And not to mention that the levels are as hard as hell. And to add to the already difficult challenge, you only get 5 continues in this game, where back in the previous games you had unlimited continues. So by the time you reach the last stage with all the spikes and then you die, all your continues are pretty much gone. And also another disappointment about this game was the music. I love the tunes from Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, but the music in this game, while good at some points, it just wasn't really memorable. There weren't many tunes from this game that I would hum, unlike the first 2 games. So I confess, I was only able to beat this game with a Game Genie. There was no possible way that I was able ever to get past those spikes at the end of the game without losing a zillion life bars. I have beaten it legitimately on Ninja Gaiden Trilogy on the SNES, but that's still a bit of a different thing altogether. But yeah, and also the weird thing about this game was, the Japanese version was actually a lot easier. The enemies didn't do as much damage, and you had a password system in that game. I think this is something that the first 2 games actually needed, because this game is so freaking hard that a password option is definitely much appreciated. So yeah, in terms of presentation and story and challenge, I found myself going back to this game far, far less than the previous two. I mean, I really felt that this game was definitely a poor sequel to the excellent two previous games in the series, and it was definitely made just to make a quick buck. I mean, they could have really planned it out better, made a more engaging story, you know, make it a lot easier, definitely. I mean, it would be great if it was like the second game where it was both challenging but not super difficult. Yeah, so you can find Ninja Gaiden 3 on the Wii U Virtual Console, the 3DS Virtual Console, and yeah, you can use the save states too, especially since this game is really, really, really hard. Yeah, so that wraps up this episode of Awesome Video Game Memories, and if you have a game that you would like for me to talk about on Awesome Video Game Memories, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. So take care.